Hello, YouTube. Welcome to another episode of Women Need to Do Better. Welcome to my podcast. My name is Shelley Kirschman. I am your host and a confidence coach here to help high performing women, leaders like you, reclaim your power, your energy, and your time. In this podcast, we are all about empowering you so that you can step up and claim your confidence in all aspects of your life. And that means work, your family, and especially how you show up for yourself. So, in each of my episodes, I talk about different situations that I have been in or I've helped other leaders like yourself navigate. And so, we're going to get into the nitty gritty of how women can stop overgiving and start setting stronger boundaries so that we can take better care of ourselves. Because let's face it, if we're real and realistic, we know that we cannot pour from an empty cup. So it's time to stop judging and criticizing ourselves and start focusing on what we really need. Because when we take care of ourselves, we can thrive without sacrificing our own health and well being. So I'm here to help you do better, me do better, so that we can love ourselves and take back control. So let's get into this, right? Because we need to do better for ourselves. Last week, episode 3 was all about the sisterhood or sabotage. And I kind of talked about our friends, our circle of women that we keep close to us, that we reach out to support us, and how sometimes we need to kind of clean house because the friends that we have supporting us are actually in competition with us, even though we're not in competition with them. So, making sure that you have the right circle of friends with the correct energy that helps us be better people and our friends that have the same energy, they match our energy, they match our vibe. That is what's important. So, this episode, episode 4, is about socially unsocial. And this made me think about how cleaning house, right? We want to get to the right circle of sisterhood friends and support in our inner circles so that way we can be our better selves. And let's face it, we've all heard birds of a feather. So when you match the energy of your friends, everything just seems to run better because we can support each other, we can lean on each other, and we don't ever have to kind of worry or be on guard. Because I don't know about you, but I love having friends that I can just be myself with and I can be honest and I don't have to second guess. It is so nice to be able to relax and not have to worry about what you're saying being taken in the wrong way. And when you have the right friends, you don't have to really worry about that. And this channel is all about us women that are high performers. And we basically keep busy all the time, taking on way more than, I guess, the average person is what it feels like, right? And we have that never ending to do list that when we finally get that free moment, sometimes it feels a little too exhausting to really be able to enjoy. It's almost like that whole, wow, can it really be? I mean, do I have a moment for myself? And when we get those moments, are you like me where we kind of crave that connection with our friends? We realize that, gosh, I haven't had any me time and I haven't talked to my friend in a long time. So maybe I need to reach out and, reconnect. But then again, I'm thinking, gosh, I just want to rest and I just want to do nothing. And so this episode is all about balancing our desire for that social connection, but also understanding the real feelings of that exhaustion from those endless responsibilities that we're trying to get through. And so, is this normal for you guys? Because I know sometimes I really struggle with that whole balance with the busy lives, the career, the family, and friends. So there was a point where I had made an effort with my best friend where every Friday, every week on Friday, we would get together. And it happens, where when you first make these plans, a lot of us, it's, yeah, it's on our list. But as time wears on, then, one cancels or the other cancels and, "Hey, can I take a rain check on the Friday?" And that rain check that one time turns into, every other week, then it turns into once a month until it turns into, "Okay, yeah, we both know we wanna connect, but our schedules, our lives, they just start getting filled with all the other things," right? That's what leadership is, isn't it? I mean, we are under constant pressure, and most of that pressure, if we admit it, is pressure on ourselves. It's stuff that we are doing to ourselves to do it all, right? And that exhaustion from that overloaded plate turns into burnout. And then sometimes that socializing that we want just ends up feeling like another task. And our lifestyle doing this leaves really little room for being able to relax and to just decompress and actually have fulfilling social connections. Because let's face it, when we want to get together with our friends, we don't want it to feel like it's a pressure, like we have to do it. Like we really want to fully show up and engage with these people, right? Our sisterhood support, right? And the thing is, the amazing part about our sisterhood support is they understand because they're going through the same thing. They don't have all the time available either. And sometimes we actually do make that time to connect, but our schedules just don't line up. And when our schedules don't line up, then we just don't make it happen. And I don't know about you, but when my schedule doesn't line up, I figure, okay, it was in the universe, it wasn't meant to be. And this is my sign that I need to do a little me time. Maybe I want to just soak in a tub with some candles and some music and just relax, right? Or just cuddle up on the couch with a cozy blanket and a book and my coffee. Because for the most part, what we're doing, because we're doing all the yeses to everybody else's expectation, is it's that people pleasing mindset. It's that society pressure. It's ourselves that we are under that pressure to fit that shoe, We've always done it all, and it's a label that we put on ourselves. It's really a belief system that we put on ourselves that leads us to burnout and resentment. And so we get so disconnected, and we especially get disconnected from ourselves, and our batteries are empty. And it is hard to connect with our friends when we can't even hear our own thoughts because we've got too many things going on in our head. I don't know if you've ever had the plans, with your friend to grab dinner and it's one of those busy days, but you've already carved out the time. Okay, I'm done with work Friday at 3 o'clock. I'm done. That's it. But then other things keep piling on your plate. And this is where we need to have those boundaries where we can actually say, nope, not doing it. I am prioritizing myself. I am prioritizing my social outing that I have planned. And the downside of ignoring ourselves is that we'll be running on fumes. The constant busy leaves no room for us to nurture our relationships with our sisterhood support or especially with ourselves. And I am all about empowering us as women, and it starts within. It starts with us. We have to learn how to carve out that time. And yes, there's going to be that guilt because we want to socialize, but unfortunately, sometimes we don't feel social. We just feel spent. We feel exhausted. We feel like, oh my gosh, I don't want to go out with my friends and then I'm just I'm not in it. I'm not feeling it. I'm not going to bring my best self and I'm just going to bring the vibe down. And then you feel guilty for saying no, but then you'll feel guilty for showing up. And you kind of feel like you're in a catch-22. And so that's why we need to think about how are we going to show up, and we really need to prioritize ourselves and understand how important the downtime is. Our downtime for high achievers needs to be a non-negotiable. We need to make sure that we give as much to ourselves as we do for everybody else. I know that I crave that quiet time. I crave that stillness that let me just sit and try to quiet my mind. Because when I lay down at night sometimes, my mind will not shut up. It is spinning about the day's events, about the next day's events, about the next week's events. And I have to be very intentional and focus on something else. Focus on my breathing, focus on the I have a air purifier that I put on at night. It's a little bit of that white noise. And, sometimes it takes that concentrating on one thing so that way your mind stops this, brrr, right? All the running and that hamster wheel of all the events and all the things and all the tasks and everything, the to do. And we need isolation or quiet time because that's when we recharge, because we are wearing so many hats all day long that we need that recharging energy. And also recognizing, are you an introvert or an extrovert? Because we need the different types of alone time. As an introvert, you need that you time with nobody else around so you can recharge. But as an extrovert, you need that time with your friends because that's how you re-energize. That is how you recharge. But it's all, remember, about the right company. That's why I had that episode last week, making sure that we keep the energy clean, the types of women that we vibe with, that match our energy, that support us, that help us, that we don't feel drained because we've been hanging out with them, but it's the opposite. And we also need to make sure that we recognize, are we feeling guilty for our needs? Because there is nothing wrong with prioritizing rest over those relationships. And that's why our sisterhood support is so important because they aren't going to make us feel guilty when we want to catch up with them, but we can't. We just physically, we shouldn't. And the truth is, that is the best feeling in the world. For me, I love my sisterhood support because we can make plans and it's not like I cancel all the time, but they understand if we made plans and then something just, in me, I just don't have the energy, it's not a big deal. And those are the best women to have because it doesn't always end up where I don't have that energy. And it doesn't always end up for her that she doesn't have that energy. But being there for each other means that we don't guilt each other for not socializing. We don't make each other feel bad about prioritizing ourselves, our rest, our mental health and peace because we know what that's like. And so if you are keeping company with friends that can't understand that, then go listen to episode 3. Maybe you need to reevaluate who you've got in your inner circle because I don't want you finishing up listening to this episode and still having that belief system in your head saying, what we tell ourselves that if I don't go out to dinner, they're going to think I'm ignoring them, or I'm such a bad friend because I'm always bailing out on plans. And we have to understand it's not wrong to take care of yourself. That belief right there, that's an internal conflict. That is something that you are telling yourself. And then there's the other side of it of the FOMO, right? The fear of missing out or letting people down, because that's how we function as leaders, as high performers. We feel like we've got to wear all these hats and we have these internal expectations on ourselves. And I've said it before and I'll say it again. We are harder on ourselves than other people are. But it turns into this vicious guilt cycle. And we push ourselves until we are so exhausted and then when we don't push ourselves, then we feel guilty, like somehow we're being lazy. And it's not lazy at all. It really is about setting boundaries for our time giving ourselves the space so that way we can do more. We we can definitely do more when we have the energy. And we have that energy when we create the space and time for us to have that ability to relax, recharge, decompress. And that looks different for everybody. I know that when I do go out with my friends, my and it's a small circle because my time is limited. And so I am very selective of the people that I hang out with. And when I hang out with my best friend, I can tell you I have so much more energy. And I don't dread going into those when that time comes, I'm actually excited and looking forward to it. So that's another piece that you can use as a gauge for yourself. When you make plans with somebody, are you excited and kind of like remember that when you were a kid and you're counting down the days to Christmas and you're just so excited, you just can't wait. And that's how it should feel when you're about to hang out and socialize. You should have that excitement that, oh my gosh, I can't wait till Friday when we go out and hang out and it's going to be so. And that's how they should make you feel, and that's how you make them feel. But if you're gonna keep pushing yourself, you're not gonna enjoy it. And then when you don't enjoy it, you're gonna feel even more disconnected. And then you're gonna feel bad for showing up, and then you're gonna feel like you're giving your friend a bad time because your energy isn't there. And it's that cycle, right? I know that I have bailed out on my friend before, and I love her to death because she is so understanding, but she understands. I mean, she feels the same way. Sometimes she's like, "You know what? I thought I was gonna have the energy, but I just don't." And there's another trick too. Sometimes when we don't have that energy because we've just been on the go all week long and we really wanna hang out with our friends, but the thought of driving to meet up and it's just, you know what? There's another way. You can always FaceTime, chit chat on your phone. Like, there are other ways to still be social. Be creative. Your friends don't care. I mean, yeah, it's great to see each other in person, but sometimes, you know, I'll call and reach out because I'm spent, but I still want that socialization, and a phone call is just as good, and it's just what I needed. So, you can combine different things, or maybe here's another suggestion. This one I love. Sometimes I'm just so stressed out and just, too many things going on, and I need to take that break, take that breather. And I call up my best friend. I'm like, hey, what do you say we go for coffee at the coast and get a tattoo? I'm kidding. That's an inside joke, and I will share that later on. But no, for serious, seriously though, if sometimes you need that break, and that's what your sisterhood support is for, right? They help you make it through those tough times, and it's like, okay, you know what? Let's go for coffee and let's do our nails or a spa afternoon or, just a little break. And sometimes they can use it too. And that's the amazing thing about being able to be creative and come on. I know as high achieving women, we have great ideas. We know how to pivot. We know how to make things work. And so let's use that intuition and those creative thoughts and that pivoting to use on us. You know, we do it for everybody else. Why not do it for us? And let's start by setting some realistic expectations. Realistic and practical expectations for when we engage, when we socialize, and it's okay to be selective. And you don't have to say yes to every single invitation. Just think about what is going to work best for you. So if a night out feels like too much, maybe just a coffee catch up or a short walk. Hey, get your exercise in and hang out with your best friend. But you gotta start letting go of those beliefs, what you tell yourself about how you have to be available for everyone all the time. You know that availability that you give for everybody else, that you drop everything or you rearrange your schedule to accommodate somebody that you care about? How about care about you? Do it for you. That's what it's about. Understanding that You don't have to put yourself under so much pressure. And if you're able to do that socializing with some self-care, right? Quiet movie in, come hang out at my place, have drinks, have a movie, or just sit around the campfire and chit chat. I love that too. But it doesn't have to be a high energy thing. It can be a low energy engagement that is going to help both of you relax. And that's where we connect is when we prioritize ourselves and we reach out to our friends. But I just want to make sure I get this across to whoever is listening out there. Make sure, please, 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 please schedule time for rest for yourself. Remember, this downtime is a non-negotiable for yourself. You got to take care of yourself. Make time for your rest because if you don't, you're not going to be able to fully show up later on. This is the thing that we struggle with is making sure that we can do everything and we do put ourselves on the back burner, but for what? Just to prolong the inevitable overwhelm and resentment and low energy. So let's think about setting boundaries around our energy so we can find that balance that we need and make sure that you are your own best friend too, right? We do so much for so many people that we can't pour from that empty cup, but we can give more when we have more energy. I know for me, when I take the time to carve out the me time, and I like to do 20 to 30 minutes every single day, and it will fluctuate where in my schedule depending on what I have going on. But if I make sure that I schedule that me time, I come back from it rested and more ready to take on. Well, sorry, I come back ready to take on more, is what I wanted to say. So, setting those boundaries, giving yourself that space without guilt, that is going to be what you need because when you are taken care of, you can take care of so much more. When you've got the energy, think about how much more you get accomplished. And we need each other. We absolutely need each other. That's why I say my sisterhood support, I would not be where I'm at without them. And so be sure to be very intentional and selective of who you let into your space because who you let in is going to determine how much energy you have left. And you want those people that are going to help recharge you instead of drain you. I hope you find this episode helpful. I hope that you can use this as a tool to kind of reflect on your own life to make sure you have balance with everything that you have going on, with all the things that you are responsible for. Are you making sure that you are balancing not just your work responsibilities, not just your friend responsibilities, not just your family responsibilities, but the you responsibility? Because you are the only one responsible for yourself first. And if you can't take care of yourself, how can you take care of anybody else? That's why it's so important because you are in charge of so many things. So many people depend on you, and especially you. So take that time, see what you can make out of your schedule to confirm that you have something set aside to sit back and relax and whatever that means to you because like I said, everybody's different. Some people recharge in different ways. Some people get their energy from, being out and taking a walk in public. Some people want to stay home, just be quiet. And I know for me, I kind of like a mix of all of it. I like to go on a walk. I've got a lot of hiking trails and walking trails close to my house. And I am a fair weather walker. I will admit that. Absolutely. If it's a little bit overcast, if it looks like it might rain, I think I'll probably stay inside, read a book, have some coffee because I don't like to be cold and I do not like to walk in the rain. I am from Hawaii, and the rain here in the Pacific Northwest is cold. It is not nice, tropical, warm rain like in Hawaii, where I walk out there, I get poured on, and then 10 minutes later, sun's out and I'm dry. That is what I'm used to, and that's not what I have here. So Anyways, that was a tangent. I hope that you guys can think of something that'll be your homework if you're interested. Write down 3 things that give you energy, that are you things, that are stuff that you can do that help recharge you and give you your energy, give you your rest, help you kind of get that downtime that you need so that way you can take more on. So, next week, I'm gonna be talking about, uh the other judgment that we put in our brains. I mean, it's not just I got to do everything for everybody else, but a lot of us have live with that imposter syndrome, right? The I'm good, but I'm not that good. We kind of tend to compare ourselves to other people, and we take that into our brains, and we come up with the belief that we're not doing enough, that we're not good enough, or maybe we started something, but we see somebody else doing it and we think that they're doing better. And so we use that as an excuse to not embrace what we want to do or not do more of what we want to do. So let's talk about that next week. That's going to be episode number 5. I hope that you guys enjoy this podcast. And if this episode or any of my other ones have resonated with you, I would love for you to subscribe to my podcast so you never miss another episode. Share it with a friend who might need a reminder to take time for themselves. And stay tuned for more tips on how to live a more balanced, empowered life where we do better for ourselves so we can do better for others. I love you guys. Take care until the next episode. Coach Shelley Kirschman signing out.